The little town I came from, because where I came from is, well, now it's called East Carbon City. In the beginning, it was called Dragerton, Columbia, Sunnyside. And my parents moved there in February of 1951. And all my life, I was there. And all my life, everybody died of some form of cancer. And my mom owned a beauty salon. And then as I grew up and got married, then her and I went into business together in 1975. I owned that beauty salon from 1975 to 2010. And it was heartbreaking how many heads I had to shave because they were taking leukemia and their hair was falling out. Men and women, I mean, both. The girl that worked with me for 18 years died of breast cancer. It went from her breast to her brain, and she died in 2012. So it touched everyone's life. Like I say, my husband's family. It took the mother with pancreatic cancer, the oldest son with leukemia, the second son with Lou Gehrig's, or ALS, the third son with brain cancer, and now the fourth son has leukemia, and he's still fighting it. So 4 out of 5 sons and a mother died of cancer. In the area that they lived, almost every household, 1 or 2 or more people died of cancer. You know, we were lucky in our family because my mother got breast cancer. Luckily, it was caught early, so luckily she survived. She lived to be 93 years old, and others didn't survive. You know, there were so many. When my mother received cancer, when we found out that she had cancer, small town, the word passes quickly, and all the women was coming in telling me about their cancer and showing me their surgeries. Now, son, I didn't want to see all this stuff, but they want you to see. I seen women that were just totally, just cut their breasts off and just like rolled up the skin and stitched it. I saw women with both breasts removed that were just, you know, totally like flatline little stitches. I saw lumpectomies. You know, I was in shock. So many people had breast cancer, you know. Like I say, small town. Everybody knows about everybody. And it amazes me that there is just, my best friend a year ago didn't feel well, put himself on a diet, thinking he was too heavy, lost 30 pounds, finally just did not feel well, went to the doctor, found out he had cancer between his ribs and his lungs, which had gone to organs. He was gone in 6 weeks. I mean, when he first called and told me he had cancer, he said, "I'm a short timer." And I said, "Well, what you going to do, chemo or anything?" He said, "There's nothing they can do for me." You know, I mean, it's like he was like 60 years old. This is a guy that was born and raised in East Carbon City. When I went there, I was 4 years old. I was raised there, you know. I got there before the testing, and I stayed through 2 testings. When they were doing the testings in 1951, one of my ladies told me that she had diapers hanging out on the line. Back then, them days, you washed diapers and hung them on the line. And when she went out to get her, after the testing, she went out to get her diapers, and they were bright pink. They were totally bright pink. And another, a friend of mine, her father had a Geiger counter, and after the testing, he went out, and everywhere he went with his Geiger counter, it just went off the charts. It was just totally off the charts. Of course, this man did die of cancer. Also, his wife died of cancer. think she had breast cancer, although she survived. So it did get as far as East Carbon, or Dragerton, whatever, right now it's East Carbon. I mean, I know that the state of Utah said Downwinders was as far as Cedar City, but they were wrong because it came all the way to East Carbon. Mother went to St. George at Willard for a few years. When she would call me and tell me it was raining in St. George, several hours later we would get rain in East Carbon. So the wind does carry that far. I truly believe that before they do any kind of testing, they should take it to China or somewhere and test, because it's not fair to the public. My cousin has a nuclear physicist cousin, and this man came to East Carbon and stayed with us for a few days, and he told us that if we knew what they were testing and what they were doing in the deserts of Nevada, we would all pass out with fear. Although he could not tell us because he worked for them, that's the statement that he made. So that isn't fair to the population when you do those kind of things. To think that they would do this in Nevada and it would come as far as we were in Utah, and, that it could mess up their health. Especially when my mother got breast cancer, when it hits home, then you really start to think about it. And my mother had to have, she had a lumpectomy. She had to have 36 radiation treatments. The radiation burned her lung, and so then we had problems. She had problems with her lungs. It's just like I say, they're just, why would they do that kind of stuff? Why would you test when you knew you were close enough to humans that it could harm their health? They had to know that. They had to know that it could possibly injure people's lives, but evidently they didn't care. When you have done something in Nevada that can trickle clear that far into Utah, and you've actually put a chemical in the air, in the dirt, and that it will actually cause people to have different kinds of cancer, how harmful that is, and how many years will this do this to the children? I mean, are the children now that are being raised there, are they still in danger? When my husband and I ran away, his brother gave us to get married. His brother gave us money. He died of leukemia. My best friend lied for me. She died of lung cancer. His younger brother, he lied for my husband, and he died of ALS. Our two very best with us, they got married at the same time. He died of stomach cancer. She died of lung cancer. And my husband died of brain cancer. The only survivor is me. So I'm sure that I'm next. I just don't know when or what